Let's talk about Memphis. Another Memphis police officer is out of a job because of his actions during the arrest and the beating death of Tyre Nichols. Preston Hemphill, the white officer who was one of the first cops to confront Tyre during the January 7th traffic stop, he allegedly deployed his taser during the confrontation. On his body camera footage, Hemphill was heard on the body camera video saying twice, "I hope they stomp his ass." Folks, where's the video? Now remember, when the video was released, you saw this white hand, and people were saying, okay, 5 black cops were fired. What about this white guy? Even the father of Tyre Nichols made that comment as well. And of course, Hemphill was later placed, he was actually relieved of duty. Now Memphis has announced that he has been fired. So what that is, so that's now 6 police officers who have been fired. And remember, you've had 3 fire department personnel who've also been fired as well. And so all of these things continue, but people still are asking the questions, why did you have supervisors? Go to the video. So you'll see again, this we missed the roll of video. So you'll see this was his video here. And so you see his hands. And that's what caused people to say, hey, what's going on? Why wasn't he initially fired as well when now he has been fired? To run again, Memphis is trying to move real quick against these police officers, and I dare say they see what's coming, and they see you're likely going to have a police settlement or a settlement with this family that's going to be larger than even the George Floyd settlement. And so Memphis is trying their best to get ahead of this.
No, you're absolutely right. That's what's happening. Memphis sees what's happening. They saw what happened in Minneapolis 2 years ago. They saw what happened in Ferguson 4 years before that. On the one hand, I think some of the climate and some of the things that we've seen over the past 7 or 8 years have made things move a little bit faster than they would have before everything happened. On the other hand, it's sickening that we still have to deal with these situations, almost every week. It feels like some of the same energy that was floating around in 2016 is coming back, where you see a black male death by the hands of law enforcement almost every day. There have been 2 more, I think 3 more since the brother Tyre was killed. I'm glad that there's going to be some sort of lawsuit. I'm glad that officer was let go. But at the same time, you start to have to, you got to really start going after these people's pensions and hit them in the pocketbook. That's the only thing they care about. They do not care about black lives. They care about taking care of their pensions. They take care about their money. If you hit that, then you start seeing change.
The thing here, Julian, when we talk about this case here, and Ben Crump made this point at the funeral of Tyre Nichols. Wow, Memphis within 20 days moved against these police officers. Yet in other jurisdictions, it's 4 and 5 and 6 months. It's a year. The cop who killed Eric Garner, I mean, my goodness, that was like 2-3 years. And it goes on and on and on. When they want to move fast, they can actually move fast, Julian. And the DA can move fast to indict.
When they want to move fast, Roland, the key word there is want. All too often, the structure, the DAs, the police chiefs and others, their motivation is to protect the rogue officers, not to protect or to discipline folks who killed somebody. I think in the Memphis case, I mean, we've seen this before. We saw Rodney King. But in the Memphis case, I think this was just so egregious. You saw so many law enforcement officers sitting there doing nothing that there had to be quick, rapid response. But again, the word is want. What do we want to do? And what we must want to do is to transform police culture. If we could, I'd fire a ball everywhere and just start over. Start with a clean slate. Find some decent people. Get somebody like Ron Hampton, black police officers, to get involved in training. Because these people are out of control. And the sad part about it is all of us are going to say never again, and it's going to happen again. We know it's going to happen again.
Renata, the public keeps saying we want action. Guess what? They can take it if they want it. Unfortunately, what we see too often, we see DAs being protective of cops. We see police chiefs being protective of cops. We see the union as well. And yes, this video was abhorrent. It was horrible. But there have been other videos that have been just as despicable. But you didn't see the Fraternal Order Police issuing a statement. They did so because of public pressure.
Absolutely. And so we know that they can move fast when they want to move as far as accountability is concerned. But we also know that police cannot kill folks they come in contact when they want to. And we know this because we don't see videos like this popping up of white people getting the hell beat out of them. And we don't see white people being murdered every other day by police. And so what we have to do as a community is get specific about the action we want to see. Yes, we do want these police officers to be held accountable, but even more, what we want is for police to stop killing Black people. And so the specific action that we need to ask for is to end police traffic stops. Those traffic stops need to be abolished. We have the technology to do it. We have other ways to get this done, to move forward with solutions that are actually about public safety. And so we all are going to have to get specific as to what we want done, because over and over again, we are being told that, you know, if we increase police officers' pay, if we change the training, if we require a bachelor's degree for a person to be a police officer, all these things will make a difference in the treatment of Black folks. But it's just not true. And we know that because many places around the country have tried these reforms. They have not worked. We are still getting the same results. And on top of all of it, we see that police officers with the same low pay, low level of education, same amount of stress, same amount of training, they have all of those same situations and circumstances when they run into white people in America, and we do not see the same results. So we are going to have to make sure that our elected officials are not being lazy with solutions like, let's just do some reform, and that we really abolish what needs to be abolished. And that is absolutely traffic stop. You
know, I did this podcast. I taped it at Fort Lauderdale today, and we were talking about how the views have changed. And I said point blank, Toron, I said the reason, because the host was like, well, you know, we're seeing accountability. I said, no. I said it was the activists and the protest on the street that forced this change. It was Black Lives Matter. It was the people who believe in the concept. It was other organizations. That's the reason we are at this point. Ain't because all of a sudden the police say, oh, let's start doing right. It's because people put pressure on the system to hold individuals accountable.
You're absolutely right, Roland. The system didn't change. We're not seeing any sort of movement on this because of the goodness of people's hearts. People are changing, and that system is somewhat changing a little bit because of the power of the cell phone. Because that, and also the fact that the police departments can't spin stories like they used to in traditional media. Everybody has the power to tell their own story with the phone now. And unfortunately, with these situations that we keep seeing, you have to have somebody who's got a solid Wi-Fi link and a phone that can tell the real story when the police departments get their stories together to try to tell you what's happening. That's what it is. And you know this just like I do. Nothing makes somebody move faster than media embarrassment. And unfortunately, this is what it's going to have to take to make people really take a look at themselves and make a lot of police departments really start thinking about reform and who they're hiring and what their policies are.
Indeed. And so I just want people to understand we're at this point. Not because, all of a sudden politicians and DAs are saying, well, we should do this. No, it is because of the pressure that the people put on this system to force it to change. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.